Alphonse Gabriel Bull Capone, born January 17, 1899, in Brooklyn, New York, became one of the most notorious American gangsters of the 20th century. His rise to power during the Prohibition era and his subsequent fall remains a compelling tale of ambition, violence, and the relentless pursuit of control. Capone was the son of Italian immigrants. He showed early signs of delinquency, joining small-time gangs and dropping out of school at the age of 14 after hitting a teacher. He soon fell under the influence of Johnny Torrio, a mentor who introduced him to the world of organized crime. Torrio moved to Chicago and invited Capone to join him, setting the stage for Capone's ascent. In Chicago, Capone started as a bouncer in Torrio's brothel and steadily climbed the ranks. Prohibition, which began in 1920, provided an enormous opportunity for illicit profits through bootlegging. After Torrio was nearly killed in an assassination attempt in 1925, he retired and handed control of his empire to Capone. Capone's operations expanded to include not just bootlegging but also gambling, prostitution, and various other criminal enterprises. He was known for his ruthlessness, using bribery, intimidation, and murder to maintain his hold on power. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre in 1929, where 7 members of a rival gang were brutally murdered, cemented his reputation as a cold-blooded killer. Under Capone's leadership, the Chicago outfit grew into one of the most powerful criminal organizations in the United States. Unlike many other gangs of the time, the outfit was highly organized and operated like a corporation, with Capone at its helm. The outfit controlled a vast network of speakeasies, distilleries, and breweries, ensuring a steady flow of illegal alcohol throughout Chicago and beyond. Capone's influence extended into the political and law enforcement spheres, where he used bribery and intimidation to protect his operations. The outfit's reach and power made it virtually untouchable for years, cementing Capone's reputation as the King of Chicago. Despite his criminal activities, Capone cultivated a public image as a benevolent benefactor. He donated to charities and was often seen in the public eye as a generous and affable personality. This duality helped him maintain a level of public support, even as his criminal activities wreaked havoc on Chicago. Despite his success, Capone faced numerous legal and public challenges. Law enforcement agencies, frustrated by their inability to convict him for violent crimes, focused on other aspects of his criminal empire. Eliot Ness and his team of untouchables were particularly notable for their relentless pursuit of Capone, though they primarily targeted his bootlegging operations. The public perception of Capone also began to shift, especially after events like the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. While some still saw him as a Robin Hood figure, the growing violence and corruption associated with his name led many to demand justice. The federal government ultimately focused on Capone's financial crimes, leading to his conviction for tax evasion. Capone's downfall began with the efforts of the federal government, particularly the Bureau of Prohibition and the Treasury Department. While his violent crimes were difficult to prosecute due to lack of evidence and witness intimidation, his extravagant lifestyle provided a different kind of vulnerability: tax evasion. In 1931, Capone was indicted and later convicted for failing to pay taxes on his illicit income. Sentenced to 11 years in federal prison, Capone served time in several prisons, including the infamous Alcatraz. His health declined during his incarceration, exacerbated by syphilis, which he had contracted years earlier. Released in 1939 due to his deteriorating health, Capone retreated to his mansion in Palm Island, Florida. He spent the remaining years of his life suffering from the effects of neurosyphilis. Al Capone died on January 25, 1947, from a stroke and pneumonia. Closing statement. Al Capone's legacy is a stark reminder of the impact of organized crime on American society. His ability to rise to immense power during the Prohibition era, fueled by violence and corruption, illustrates the dark side of ambition and the vulnerabilities of law enforcement during that period. Despite his attempts to paint himself as a benevolent figure, Capone's life was marked by brutality and a relentless pursuit of control. His downfall and subsequent imprisonment underscore the eventual triumph of law and order over criminal enterprises. Capone's story serves as both a historical lesson and a cautionary tale about the perils of unchecked power and the inevitable consequences of a life steeped in crime.